Well.
Good morning, everybody.
Good Friday morning, TGI Friday.
That's right.
And thank goodness it's Friday morning.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, your two favorite realtors on the internet, Sandy Roberts, along with
Bryant Lovett.
the one and only. Hey guys, here's the reality. We're going to start coming. We've had a couple trying to figure out when's the best time, but the reality is we're going to be dropping these things on Friday morning.
That's right.
The cool thing is you can watch us whenever you want.
That's right.
But you and I will be live.
That's right. So if you want to tune in, ask questions,
Friday mornings.
say hello, Friday mornings. That's right.
I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I'm fueled with Sola coffee this morning.
Who wouldn't want to start their day with their two favorite realtors?
Yeah, with your two favorite realtors that are now highly caffeinated.
That's right.
Have you had
I
yours?
haven't, so you can speak for yourself.
Okay, thank you, Sola Coffee, right off the street here. I'm doing good.
That's right.
So I'm ready to rock and roll.
You got some folks
a
too,
college
man.
buddy.
That's right.
A group, the RDG just joined with you.
That's right.
Redemption Design Group.
There you go.
Chris Hodges is with them.
Awesome.
I would love to meet with them at some point. They're doing some cool stuff.
See? There you go.
Also,
I got a couple clients tuned in already, so hey, everybody.
Yeah, this is
good. Got a couple realtors that are tuned in.
This is good. Well, guys, hey, listen, we're going to, I think, two things today.
Yeah.
One is we're going to talk appraisals, and then two, Brian, you're going to kind of give us just a few more facts on just real stats, real numbers on where we are in the market for the purpose of not driving home. It's a hot market. You've heard it, you've read it, you've seen it, but just maybe some facts that will actually help if you're trying to present an offer or if you're looking at the value of your own home.
Yep.
Or
gosh, yeah. I mean, the question right now is how do I win? How do I get this house? So hopefully we'll be able to bring some light to that.
Right, because a lot of times it's anecdotal, right? It's like,
That's
hey, how much should I offer? Well, I've seen this, amount over win.
That's right.
But the reality is, we actually now have stats to say
what's happening on average. That's right. So we'll bring some stats this morning. We will bring some educational pieces. And hopefully send you guys on your way to have a successful weekend in real estate.
I was going to say, because I think what we're doing is we're laying a groundwork for a great weekend.
That's right. That's exactly what we're doing.
G to G. Okay.
That's right.
Let's start off. First things first, we should hop into appraisals.
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm going to do my best, but I want to give you the authority to, at any moment, just interrupt and say, Sandy, this is actually how it goes down.
No.
Okay?
No, it's good though. You're going to hear from two different perspectives.
Yeah.
We have our two separate pieces of business, separate clients. We're serving our folks as best we can. So it's good to get as many perspectives as possible.
Totally.
If you guys want to tune in, like with comments, if you're a real estate agent out there and you've had certain experiences, please drop us a note. Let us know. Like, this is what we've experienced. This is what's happening right now.
Yes.
It's good.
Okay, so the appraisal. What is that? Okay, so in the process, you want to buy a house.
Yep.
You're pre-approved. You have a realtor. You submit an offer. It goes under contract. Boom. Once you get that, you probably whoever you pre-approved with or pre-qualified with, you then send them the contract. And the first thing they're going to do after you sign a bunch of paperwork is order an appraisal.
An appraisal. That's right.
And what the appraisal does is it puts a kind of on that day evaluation of or a value on the home that you were purchasing for the sake of the bank that is going to essentially buy the house on your behalf, loan you the money.
That's right.
Which you'll pay your mortgage to.
That's right.
And they're going to put value on your home based on that appraisal.
That is exactly right.
Based on the person who does that, which is known as our appraiser. Which is usually one person who does the appraiser or does the appraising. All these words. Here's the reality. In a market where the majority, and I know you'll speak to this, of offers are going over asking, this appraisal is playing more and more of a role in the offers that are being submitted, but also too the impact of how these are coming back plays a big role in how people are financing their homes, but sometimes too wreaking some real havoc on the whole transaction. That's right. Depending on where they come in.
That's exactly right. Yeah, because you got your down payment.
Yep, exactly.
You got your closing costs.
Yeah.
You got all these expenses. Maybe your inspection costs. You pay for the appraisal itself.
Yeah.
And then you're hit with an appraisal gap if that appraisal doesn't come in where we need it to come in. explain to the troops a little bit about what that's like. Like, what do we mean when it doesn't come in where it needs to come in?
Totally.
And how that can affect them.
How that can play out. So totally. So, end of the day, you put an offer in, and most of the times that we've talked about in this market, you're going over asking. Because of that, you are putting probably more value, or saying I'm willing to pay more than the home is potentially worth at that moment.
Yes.
So the bank is not going to just loan you monopoly money to say you think it's worth $50,000 over. We're going to give you that. No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Instead, we got to back it up and say it might be worth a fraction of that, or some piece of that.
That's right.
So there might be a gap in which what you've offered and what they've said we're willing to lend you, there's a gap there. It could be a couple thousand, it could be tens of thousands, depending on how much you went over, or it could appraise right at.
Yep.
But when there's a gap, the buyer is on the hook for how much that difference is.
Yes.
Now, a lot of times in this market, what we're seeing, again, to be competitive, people are writing an appraisal addendums into the offer, or adding them as an addendum to say, we're willing to cover the totality of any gap, a portion of that gap, or if you choose not to, specify. A lot of times you're not getting chosen.
That's right.
So it puts the buyer in a very precarious place because you're actually waiting, kind of on pins and needles, with bated breath to see how that comes back.
Yeah.
And so because of that, there's a lot of nerves. And so, buyers on the front end are going to ask us to say, hey, what do you think this is going to appraise for? Which is $1 million question. Why? Because it's one person giving value. How they make the adjustments, meaning how they kind of compare, add and subtract. The comps or the comparables they use matters infinitely.
Yes.
Because it might be from that immediate neighborhood. It could be from a mile away. It could be multiple miles away, depending on, trying to find like-kind properties. So there's so many variables. And in the day, you and I are both real estate agents. We're not appraisers, which is a licensed position.
It is a licensed position.
And so they have their own set of rules and regulations that they go by. And so it's another world. And again, you and I both, you've seen a lot more, but we try to study these appraisals when they come back to see how are they making the adjustments? How far are they going? Just what are the different, adjustments and price per square foot? All these things. In the day, this is not our job, and we can't say definitively, oh, I have no doubt that this will appraise for the purchase price.
That's right.
And so it leaves us in a tough place. I'm not going to lie. For real. This is probably one of the biggest challenges for you and I right now. Because we want to get our clients under contract into homes.
That's right.
We know that there's a limited pile of money, which we've talked about, that we needs to go to some down payment, but we also need to have some, for the ability to potentially push into an appraisal gap should it be there.
That's right.
And so, end of the day, appraisals are becoming more and more of a challenge for you and I, because again, we just don't know. And so, I think if I could just kind of leave this off with one thing. This is the big, great unknown that we can study, we can try to learn. But at the end of the day, we don't know definitively. And so we have to kind of think worst case of what if it doesn't appraise? What if it only comes in at ask or at purchase or at list price? Yeah, thank you. And there is a significant gap. Can we cover that? And if not, we can't just speculate, oh, this should. A lot of times they do, but sometimes they don't. Brian.
That's right.
Just feed me a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, let's actually, so let's talk strategy a little bit. There's some ways that you guys can start to plan your offers out a little bit. You can start to plan, okay, what am I doing to protect myself? I only have so much cash. Some buyers come into the market, they are coming into the market, and cash does seem to not be a problem for them.
Right.
And if you're up against that, it is hard to compete. But if you have a very finite amount of cash, how am I going to use this strategically? We've been telling our folks, if you had that 20% down payment plan in place, okay, great, put that plan in place. But you might need to readjust, drop that down to a 15%, drop it down to a 10%, drop it down to a 5%.
That's right.
So that your cash isn't going towards down payment; it's going towards the appraisal gap. This market is in flux. This market is growing. By definition, guys, a market that is growing means that people are paying more than what homes are appraising for. If people weren't willing to pay more than what homes were appraising for,
that's right,
the market would not increase.
Exactly.
Everything would flatline.
So it's not something you need to be afraid of. We just have to take that into account with the offer. And we can give some comps, but we can't look at something and say, well, this closed at $182 a square foot, so you should be fine at 178. We can't say that definitively. I mean, we can give you some frameworks by which we're trying to put in the best offer, keeping in mind what's closed around.
That's right.
But in the day, we're trying to help people win, and you never know how much ever it's going to, that's a challenge, and we don't know. Appraisers come, they're assigned third party.
Yes. And we work for firms.
Right.
Appraisers work for appraisal companies.
Yes.
That appraisal company needs to sign off on their appraisal and will flag their appraisals. So an appraiser can't just act any way they wish and apply value any way that they wish.
No, there's a certain...
They have to stay within framework too. So, and ultimately they work for the bank, and the bank wants to mitigate as much risk as possible.
Totally.
These are good things. These are not bad things.
No, it's good. It's a checks and balance.
Exactly.
But it's an area that we can't, again, we want to shed light on, but we just we want people to get a full understanding that this is an important component as we're submitting offers over asking.
That's right.
And I think you and I have been the beneficiaries of very gracious appraisals.
Some great appraisals, absolutely, that even come in over our asking price,
which is significantly over list.
Yeah,
I've also more recently been of one where we have to start to fight, and or we have to kind of look back and maybe try to see if we can get some more money. So
that's right.
They come on both sides.
Yep. Rebuttals. Yep. Reappraisals, guys. There are some ways that we can help you through that process. We're very experienced in being able to take you from a low appraisal to maybe a rebuttal, maybe a reappraisal process. It's there's rules and regulations to everything and to all of it, so we're here to help step you through it. At the end of the day, the homes that are going to best help your appraisal meet value, the value that you wished for it to have, is for them to compare homes that have sold in the most immediate market.
Yeah.
Honestly, those are usually the homes that haven't closed yet. And so we are watching carefully for the homes that are under contract to close so they can become comps we can use within our appraisals. Yeah. So, and then we can pitch that. We can pitch that to appraisal companies. We can say, listen, these are comps that have just closed.
Yes.
Let's pump the brakes on ordering the appraisal because we need a better indicator here. At the end of the day, I want to say this, and maybe we can wrap down this section with this. Value is not defined by an appraiser, and it's not defined by me. It's defined by the marketplace.
That's right.
So a buyer is who ultimately indicates what something is worth.
Yeah.
So listen to that, folks. I mean, if someone moves into this market and they're used to 2,200 square feet being $500,000, and they come into this market and it's $300,000, they may very well say, that's worth $350,000 to me.
Yeah.
And you are looking at it going, why are you valuing it at $350,000? It's not supposed to sell at $350,000. And at the end of the day, that supply and demand factor, the market determines ultimate value. And that's why we will ask our clients. We will ask our clients this one question. We will set appraisal prediction aside. And we will say, what are you willing to pay for this house?
That's right.
What do you think it's worth?
Yep.
You've seen houses with us. You've compared this to other homes. What do you think it's worth? And at the end of the day, how much cash do you have to play with? Like I said, strategically, we just may need to put less towards down payment. Yes, PMI becomes a factor at that point.
It's fair.
That's fair. But maybe we just need to, we need to search in a different price point. Maybe we need to drop that price point intentionally so that PMI doesn't put you over your monthly budget, but it does at least enable you to put less towards down payment, more towards appraisal gap. There's ways to think about these things. If that was confusing, I'm sorry, but
no, this is just gold. Someone over here just said y'all are a wealth of knowledge. Thank you, because you just dropped some gems. Hey, Brian,
trying to help.
So we're gonna close today. I want you to close out with, you have like maybe two stats.
That's right.
That I think would be helpful just to give some more flesh to the bones of it's a hot market.
Yeah. Okay. So guys, we now have May numbers up to this point.
There we go.
May numbers are showing us that the average home right now in the triangle is closing 6% over asking price.
Oof. Yeah, 6%.
6% over asking price. That is, and by the way, that's on average.
That's on average. So that means there's ones even higher than that.
There are
which
ones.
I think we could all, if you're in the market, you probably know, you've seen that.
You've seen it. So that's good food for thought. And strategically, we might want to think about dropping your overall search price point to be in that 4 to 8% below where your max budget is, because we are going to have to fight. On average, 6% over what the list price is. That's very hot data. That's as of this past week.
Totally.
So,
and then the last thing I think, which is so important, because I think some people are getting burned out, tired, ready just to say we should keep renting.
Yeah.
But tell us why. I mean, again, we're real estate agents, and so everyone's going to say, well, of course you're going to say buy. But why, just statistically speaking, why is maybe rental even in this market not a great call?
Yeah, but rent's going to go. It's up 6.8%. 6.8% is drastic. I mean, we're seeing upwards of 15% increases in the resale market, but the rental rate is also going up. So it's the dangerous and scary thing about renting is that rent can go up on you every single year. That means that your budget is changing every single year.
Right.
Buying a home locks in that your interest rate gets locked in, your monthly payment gets locked in.
Yes.
And you know definitively where you're at and how you can provide for your family. So rental is a little bit risky on that front, but some of our folks have to rent. I mean, there's just no way around that now.
There's no question.
They don't have the cash to compete with buying. They can't purchase. They can't compete. So therefore, they're renting. Guys, I want you guys to at least be aware of what's happening in the rental world. Rent is going up. That's just the way it is. And so be prepared for that. We're trying to mitigate that sticker shock as much as we can.
That's right.
And make it to where when you do see those higher rental prices, you expect them.
Yeah.
Because they are coming.
Guys, this is just, I don't know how long we've gone here, but holy smokes, we have just dropped so many gems today. We should charge you. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, and I'm kidding. No, this is an honor for us to do this.
That's right.
Hey, listen, we're over here. Bryant's rocking the hat. I'm rocking the shirt. Love It Properties. Listen, if you're an agent or you're thinking about getting real estate, we'd love to have you come on board.
Yeah.
We got an awesome
Grab a
team.
cup of coffee with us.
This is not, there's about 8 to 10 of us who
12 of us now.
12 of us who
as
love.
of like a month ago.
Sweet. We love what we do, and there's some really cool synergy. These are things we're talking about as a team weekly to try to implement so that we can, grow the businesses and really serve our people well. But that being said, that is all I can offer up today.
That's all right. Question for the troops: have you or have you not run today yet?
I have not run today.
You're gonna get it in though.
I'm gonna get it in.
You're gonna get it. How many miles today?
Short day today because I up to this point have run 50 miles this week.
Good heavens!
And I'm gonna try to get 25 over the weekend. So today's gonna be a short day. But in the meanwhile,
keep it a cool 8 miles.
In the meanwhile, I'm going to have good posture as I sit here and work on my core.
That's right.
Make sure my head sit on top of my shoulders,
stuff.
on top of
on top of your
Yeah, exactly.
Well, guys, have a fantastic rest of your weekend.
Absolutely.
Hope you guys started your Friday morning with us, and hope this has been valuable. We'll come at you guys next week and continue to bring it.
All right. Until then, have a great weekend.
Yep.